And now that I don't live there, I don't know how long it has had or has been, but my mind already thinks about what is on that photograph, and he said, it leads me to say to anybody else, no, anyway, it's a nice building, and it's not. I can't describe it in a short space of time, because indeed, I think it could have been a house leased to others in a distance of time from when I last was in it. But I think it's now lived in by others, and it's you'll have to see for yourself what it's like. I've not felt any anything other than my most recent things are that the a tiny almost like a big box type of thing, and it was made into just the halt for two to get a little look of the ground as it now is, whatever it was. And yes, I thought that we did have someone. I can't remember doing the work myself, but I believe that there was the move over to there being a guardhouse and fit for the gardener to spend his time. If it's going to be the using of the house, the ground in another way, just to say, I'm going to stick a big gun. Why not have a big gun here? And it would be wonderful, just near the end of where now the house now is. I think that was my thoughts that really we took over the the the, the, the first ground. The first ground that seemed to be open at the end of our stay. Here was, and this was what happened hereafter. And not a big dwelling. It's just a little place where you could actually spend all the wet days that might ever come, and you'd be able to be dry in it. I hadn't thought through all the things that would be involved in that. But I mean, it's rather like this room that we're in. To simply say that this was the extra piece of wood, and all of the other things that you see are what we can see now. But it did start by having the small. It started off by being a small something, and it's possible that actually then through the changes in later years, not just 1, 2, 3 years, or might be. Suppose it got to, well, it might have got to 1936. What I mean? No, I can't understand why no. Because it doesn't always. Well, that's the point about it, is that you do have a memory of any kind at all, and really those any houses that we had planted in a field, well, that would be the sort of thing we're talking about. And when we say held the property in our hands and pushed it up, and it's and it's on the edge of this, or on the edge of that. Nearer being the persons who actually lived like this, then I personally, on my side, I wasn't the one who actually then went to live in not Greece, but he went to live in the Far East. Yes, he lived in the Far East, and he would be a man who would look like that. And there's Jane, the wife of the person. That's how they were able to carry on right through all your life, and you would have been young enough to be able to think. It's amazing how we've fitted in the Middle East. That you reckon that you can that you can imagine or knew it. Well, these were they. No, the person may not have been interested in being going to change his life from here in Oxford to yes. It went to Greece, and he carried on in Greece, and in Greece it was a bigger place then. It was all. That's really how some of them disappeared. They were bettered by the patience and the ability to do things, and actually, for instance, stay apart. Be the man who sets up the place for the planes eventually to go, but but meanwhile he sets up or gets fame for simply the getting the habitation